We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. How nice is it doing a press conference at 4 p.m? I know. Normally it's 4 a.m. So, great night, great day today at the Cosmo. Of course, Conor Benn coming through 12 rounds against the tough Pete Dobson, 23-0 now. It's been a great experience in Las Vegas. We're going to open to the floor just for questions from everybody.
Okay.
Conor, your father Nigel fought a friend of mine, Sandlerline Williams, back in the day. Sandlerline was a very slick boxer. I'm not sure if you ever saw that fight.
I haven't seen that fight, no.
Your dad lost, or won a split decision from Sandlerline. But your opponent today reminded me a lot of him. Very hard to look good against, very defensive-minded. And how hard is it to fight a guy who's so defensive-minded?
It's not even as if he was defensive-minded. It was like he didn't want to engage. He didn't commit to any shots. He was tough, but I think that's all there was to it tonight. A few mistakes my end that I made, but we'll adjust, go back to the drawing board, change it. I was happy with my performance as a whole. When I shot, I didn't miss. I let my hands go. Too much pulling back. Like minor things like that me and my team will work on. But apart from that, there wasn't really much to it. I've had harder spars than tonight. I was very disappointed. Giving it I'm a dog, I'm from the Bronx, you heard, and all that talk, and then coming out and didn't engage. It's hard to get the knockout when you try and draw someone into a fight, and there was nothing coming back. But thank you.
How was it going 12 rounds?
How did it look? It was. I'm a little bit over the moon that I've done 12 rounds because. You always wonder, it's always in the back of your head, no matter how hard you train, whether you can actually do the 12 rounds. I know you can do 10, if you can do 10, you can do 12, but, for me it was, it was really easy work tonight, it was, this morning. It was easy work, really.
Conor, after the fight, Devin Haney was on Twitter, someone's asking him where did Ben's power go, he says he left it in the needle. I know Haney said he would be willing to discuss making that fight.
Yeah, what the fuck's he talking about? He ain't knocked no one out in his last 15 fights. What's he talking about, power? He's never had power. My DNA's strong, don't worry about that. I'm fresh up out of my dad. So when you want to talk about power, he's just jealous because he's never had none. If he wants to come find out about the power, I'm more than happily show him.
Would you be open to that fight?
He can get it next. He's been very vocal. His dad's shown a lot of respect, Bill Haney, a lot of class. But he needs to teach his little kids some manners, some lessons. So if he wants to come, I'll deal with him, no problem. He's easy work.
In the United States as well.
I'll fight him wherever. I'm doing a little American tour at the moment, so I'll fight him wherever. He's got quick hands, he's got fast feet, he's athletic. Not more than me. If he wants to talk about power, he's never had none. People go to sleep when they watch Haney fight. Even when I go 10 rounds, even when I go 12 rounds, people are on the edge of their seats. Not like his. I don't think I've ever seen a Haney fight. I'll tell a lie. I was at one of his fights, and that's because one of my friends were fighting on the undercard. That's it.
What do you think this performance tells us the American audience? Especially ones that are still skeptical over what's going on.
So people will always be skeptical. You keep saying this.
Yes.
People will always be skeptical, irrelevant of whatever outcome. I've been cleared twice. No doubt I'll be cleared again. What then? Are people still going to be skeptical? You keep saying that. People will always be skeptical, and that's completely fine. It's something that I've had to accept. And as much as it breaks my heart, it's unfortunate, and that's just one thing that I've got to deal with now. But apart from that, I'm a hell of a fighter. Do 12 rounds easy, no problem. Skill set's there, power's there, agility, athleticism, dedication, mindset, it's all there. So that's what that showed tonight. I could do 12 rounds easy, no problem. I'll do 12 rounds in my sleep. I'll piss that.
Conor, that 12 round seemed like you weren't going to get him out there. Obviously, you were very aggressive. Just walking through that final round, is that the key?
Yeah, listen, that's always the plan, isn't it? You know, I go into every fight with the intention of breaking them down, breaking their spirit and knocking them out. You know, but it's hard to fight with someone who actually don't think they can win the fight anyway. You know, they're coming here to survive. You know, he was like a journeyman. You know, he was a right journeyman. He didn't engage, he didn't really throw. The only time he could was when I made silly mistakes. Apart from that, it was, you know, it was a one-sided beatdown. And these ain't the fights I want. They're not the fights that get me going. They're not the fights that, you know, you don't go from selling out mega shows, mega stadium, to then fighting a Peter Dobson and expecting there to be a knockout when he's just coming in there to survive. That's all there was tonight. You know, I honestly thought, you know, giving it all the talk from the Bronx, I'm a dog, out the mud, and he comes and runs around for 12. Not even runs around, he just didn't do anything. You know, so I'm a bit disappointed in that, as I was expecting a fight, and therefore, you know, you make them miss, you make them pay. I was just dishing out the pain today. I'm broke.
It looks like we're not going to get that, you know, argument between Crawford and Spence. We don't know what Crawford's going to do with the three belts he has. But if you had to pick one of those belts, which one would you like to fight?
I'll fight for anyone, man. Preferably, if we can go Barrios next for the WBC interim, that would be my choice. Obviously, you've got the Errol Spence Crawford fight. I don't know what's happening with that. I'm not here to waste time and wait around for anyone. I've wasted enough, not wasted, but I've had enough time out of the ring. For me, I just want to get out there, get back out. Like I said to the team, I'm ready to go April. Like, when I mean I'm ready to go April, let's go. I want to make up for lost time. You know, I ain't getting any, I mean, I'm only 27, but I ain't getting any younger. Let's go. Give me the big fights. Let me continue to prove myself. People say you can't do 12 rounds at the pace you fight. Of course I can do 12 rounds. Easy. I'm a 15-round fighter. And that's how we prepare diligently hard in the Sim stable, the Matchroom Sim stable. So 15 rounds, no problem, easy work.
You guys message Spanish from our part of
Soy listo. Soy listo para la pelea. Cuando tú lo quieres, estoy aquí. Llámame.
Conor, what were the adjustments you made tonight? You got off, won the first three, he did solid in 4 and 5, and then you took it back over. What were the adjustments made to take control of the fight?
It was like sparring, man. You know, it was like there wasn't really much in it. There wasn't like really much adjusting apart from just me doing what I wanted to do in there. There was no respect in there. It was, you know, it's very one-sided. As soon as he shaped up and started moving around the ring, I was just like, I get annoyed because it's like, is this what you're bringing then? Is this what I got to do for 12 rounds? There ain't no. The only thrilling parts was when I was throwing punches. You know, there weren't much else to it. So yeah, very disappointed. You know, when people talk the talk but don't back up the talk. You know, even as I said, even when I go 10 rounds, even when I go 12 rounds, I'm always ready to have it out if they want it.
Did any of the shots he landed on you, both you and vice versa, do you feel like any of the shots you landed hurt him?
No, I mean, he threw some good shots. You know, landed a few right hands that was a silly mistake for me for pulling back. But you know, at each fight, you learn and you grow from. You make mistakes that you haven't made previously, or you know, you fight people with different styles. So yeah, I'll just go back and work on the silly little mistakes that I made that enabled him to land his right hand. I think taking myself to the right of him, to the left, taking myself to the way out of his right hand, you know, it become an easy one. Nice work there.
So did you feel the same way? Did you feel like there were silly little mistakes, as Conor was saying, in his performance?
There's always things you've got to work on, and depending on the opponent, what the opponent does. He was very defensive minded, and he was quite difficult to land clean on. So you know, there's always stuff that you've got to work on. It's good to have fights like this, to look at the fight, rerun it back, and then just work on little minor adjustments really. But I thought it was good for Conor to get the 12 rounds under his belt tonight.
And just by magic, Bill Haney's turned up. Bill, how are you?
I heard somebody looking for us.
We're ready.
Okay.
We're ready.
Congratulations, Conor.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you.
Listen, I know this probably wasn't the performance you would like, but we know that you're a real player in the game. So I want to come over here and tell you congratulations, and maybe we can do something.
Listen, you know, I'm keen for that fight.
Hey, listen, all due respect, brother.
No,
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'm ready to go. And
All
I
respect to you and your family. You guys are legends in the sport, and of course it will be an honor and a pleasure if that time presents itself. And you know what I mean? Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, what do you think Eubank's thinking of that?
Oh, well, we're going to ignore the elephant in the room. I don't care about Eubanks, man. He's an idiot. Like, he's just an idiot. And I ain't got no time for him. There's nothing to say. You know, he is what he is, and I am what I am. You know, and I'm a proper fighter. You know, I come for it. I always deliver. Always intend. Don't make up excuses. If I've had a bad night, I've had a bad night. If I've had a good night, I've had a good night. I am what I am, and what you see is what you get.
Eddie, if Conor would like a Barrios fight for the WBC, how do you get on about realistically making that when Barrios is a PBC welterweight?
Well, he's not. When you say he's a PBC welterweight, he's not under contract with PBC, so he's a free agent. But there is talks about a boot tennis fight for him. So what we've got to do is we've got to pay him more money than he'd be getting to fight boot tennis. Because, you know, I think Conor's one of the best welterweights in the world, but boot tennis is a very, very good welterweight also. So if Barrios thinks that Conor might be an easier fight, maybe he'll take that fight. But it's just an example of the names that we need, you know, to address. I've done a couple of interviews 10 minutes ago where I said tonight is the last time I talk about Chris Eubank Jr, right? Until he signs a contract. Until then, I'm not talking about it anymore. Because I actually can't understand why this guy, when he called him an idiot, you're either an idiot or you're scared. Because people keep talking about Chris Eubank Jr. Oh, you know, he shouldn't be made to make 160. He's 160 pounds. What about Conor Benn coming up 2 divisions to fight a middleweight? So when you talk about the legacy of British boxing, Eubank against Benn. I mean, unfortunately, the Eubank side never gave Nigel Benn the 3rd fight after a very questionable 2nd fight. We mustn't lose out on this fight. But I just like, when you're getting 3 times as much money to fight another middleweight or a big name, and you're still refusing to fight Conor Benn, you're either stupid or you're scared. So I'm not sure which one it is, but after tonight...
He's an idiot.
Not scared?
No, he's an idiot.
So that's it. After tonight, I'm never mentioning it again until the fight ever gets made. But I'm not, even our own broadcasters saying, Eddie, can you please just stop trying to make the Eubank fight? This guy obviously has something, you know, nightmares.
Well, what's worse, being scared or being an idiot? Like, which one?
Being an idiot.
I don't think he's scared. I think he's a tough kid. But how can you not have a sensible conversation? Imagine like Dana White said to me tonight, loved the night, loved your performance as well. It's like, you know, imagine being in a world where you can just say, right, you are fighting you in March. I'll see you there. Like when I explain that kind of situation to Dana White, he looks at me like, well, I don't want to work in boxing. Imagine you getting like, I don't know, 2 or 3 million to fight Janibek or something like that, or actually much less to fight Janibek. Or you're getting more than 3 times that to fight a welterweight. But you'll probably watch tonight and go, I'll beat him easy. I reckon he thinks he can beat you easy.
Oh, I don't know what he thinks because he's an idiot.
And that is it. That's the end. The last time ever until we make the fight. Yes, sir.
Conor, you made your rounds here in Vegas and even Las Vegas. How was your debut? And also for Dana White to be sitting here in American. I mean, it's not the UK, but it's Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, you had Cody Gabron, Jimmy here, Katie Taylor, Leonares, Amir Khan, etc. So, you know, for me, it's Dana White. It's a blessing, man. Felt like fighting Sin City in Vegas is it's a dream. It's every young man's dream. It's every fighter's dream. You know, to not only fight in Vegas, but to be headlining and have these celebrities turn out to come and watch you fight. It's overwhelming. You know, I looked at it earlier and I was just like, yeah, like this is people come to know what they're getting. You know, people know what they're coming to see, and I'll make sure they don't leave disappointed. I'll make sure people go, yeah, that was a good fight. He was a tough guy. And that's how I always want it to be. If it goes 12 rounds, I want people to go, he was a tough guy. You know, it's nothing to do with anything else apart from that he took some shots. You know, and if they take him, you're not going to knock everyone up. And that's fine. But, you know, I'm always about putting on exciting fights.
You think that with Dana White, obviously boxing with Tom Lawler, you guys can start working on boxing?
What, is it me getting kneed in the head?
Yeah.
I
just think Dana would find boxing so frustrating. Because honestly, it's so frustrating. I go back to the person I'm not talking about anymore. But it's just like I just bang my head on the table. And I think he likes to be able to, you know, and he's always been very courteous to myself and the team, and thank you for him allowing Tony and his boys to train at the UFC Centre this week, which is just a facility that we would die for in boxing. But, you know, they are the levels. Like Conor looks up to, you know, although he wants to fight them, but the Crawfords of this world, I look up to Dana and the UFC as a business, and right, like it's an amazing business, but they do have the ability, which we're very jealous of, to just say you versus you on that day, goodbye. And I wish we had that in boxing, but that's one of the problems of the sport. A couple more guys.
Eddie, Coach, and Ben, how much more of the Conor Benn US tour do we have before possibly going back home overseas?
Do you know what? I feel very welcomed over here. And I say that from my heart. You know, you guys have really welcomed me in everywhere I've been, everywhere I've gone, every gym I've gone to, the people, even the turnout today. You know, I'm overwhelmed by the support I have over here. I know the Ben name is familiar over here. All the world titles are over here. So you can sort of call this my second home. Unless Eddie has other plans.
Yeah, for me, you know, we came here really because of the situation. Every fighter hopes that after they've conquered their own country, you can finally fight in America. Well, that was actually Conor's third fight in America. He boxed in
New York, Orlando,
and now Vegas. I mean, actually, it's been a blessing. And this is actually the first UK fighter I've ever had headline in Las Vegas. You know, so we've had some smaller fights like Canelo Golovkin and Canelo Bivol, but on, you know, in all seriousness, I've never had a UK fighter headline here. So that's great for us. And like I said, this happened because of a situation that. You also have to remember that every time Conor Benn fights, it's on the shoulders, there's questions, it's hanging over us, there's another appeal, someone else is appealing. And once that's cleared, which is in a couple of weeks' time, you're going to see a different fighter, a different mindset, and we want to return to the UK next. You know, we'll be back here, for sure, but I want to see him fill up an arena in the UK, which you can do very easily. Last one, guys, we've got one more.
Conor, 3 years ago here in Vegas, I asked you about potential fights and guys want to fight. You mentioned Virgil too back.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.